Abdiel, Abdiel, messenger of our Elohim. About to read a little bit more about Abdiel, and then I'll be completed with the Adam and Eve story. I should have went ahead and read this already on here, but we're getting to it now. This is going to be the first part of the Mahazeh Gedolah. Okay, and I got a new device, so I'm trying to record like this now. Hope you guys like it. We'll see how it goes. So let's get going. I'm running out of daylight here, but I'm gonna start reading in chapter 10 on page 59 of the Holy Megillah, Nasarean Bible of the Essene Way, and this is right after Eve has repented. She's came back and started talking to her son, and he's fully outgrown them now in wisdom, and he's not a baby anymore. He's a teenager. And now the Megillah explains what happened and how he grew up. Okay, so we're going to start in verse 42. It says, Behold, rather than sleep in the absence of his earthly parents, Abdiel awoke. Baby Abdiel awoke to the sound of the white dove singing. She sang the bliss and wisdom of the tree of life. Lo, her song was sweet, and Abdiel hungered for the fruit of the tree of life. Abdiel opened his mouth and sang his response to the dove. His first song was Iyah, which means I am. And the dove sang to Abdiel of the 7 branches and the 7 roots of the tree of life. And with each song the dove sang, Abdiel sang back, and each time Abdiel opened his mouth and sang, the dove dropped into his mouth a piece of fruit from the branch or root of which he sang. Lo, the baby began to climb the tree of life, and when he fell from one of the branches, the lamb was there to cushion his fall, yea, and to help him climb back up. Behold, Abdiel made his home in the center of the tree, and from his home in the center of the tree he learned to climb even the highest branch, for he knew that the branch was not only outside and around him, but was also within him. Yea, and it was with the help of the lamb and dove that he discovered the tree was within himself. For only through the way of the lamb and dove can one find the center of the tree within oneself. Lo, it was from the lamb and dove that Abdiel learned his greatest lesson, which was this: to climb the highest branches of the tree, he must take the way of the tree of life to those in distress. Yes, for only those who reach low to take the hands of the distressed are truly high. For the tree of life grows atop the mountain of peace, and only those who take the mountain of peace to those who groan in the valley reach the summit. Yea, it is by walking as a candle in the dark valley that the mountain of peace goes with us, as us, and it is in the holy descent that we find the highest ascent. And only then do we know the truth of the tree of life that grows atop the mountain of peace. This is the way of the dove and the lamb. And the name of this way is the Essene way, which is the healing way of the dove and the lamb. For an Essene is a healer of body, mind, and soul. And behold, those who accept the invitation of the dove and the lamb to take initiation as disciples of the Essene way shall be called Nasareans. For Nasa means to lift up, and we are Nasareans when we reach low to raise up those in distress. Yea, and by doing so, we ourselves are raised up to the summit of the Essene mountain of peace, where stands the holy tree of life. Yea, 'twas in the bliss of the center of the tree, as he listened to the songs of the lamb and dove, holy Abdiel heard a drum beat. That was the pulse of their song. Lo, the drum beat was the beating in unison of the hearts of the lamb and dove. Yea, the drum beat of the dove and the lamb was their heartbeat, and their hearts beat in unison. And when Abdiel made that drum beat the focus of his meditation, lo, he heard the words of the heartbeat of the lamb and the dove in the form of a question: Who will go? And Abdiel perceived that only those in the bliss of heavenly realms could hear this question, for only they have the ears to hear this heartbeat. And Abdiel perceived the meaning of the question. It meant, who will leave this heavenly abode wherein is neither violence nor discord, to walk in the dark valley of the violent worlds? Yea, it meant, who, having attained the privilege of living in a heavenly world amongst peaceful, honest souls, will give up that privilege to walk amongst the tormented souls of the dark and discordant worlds? Yea, it meant, who will be the hands and feet of the heartbeat of compassion? It meant, who will be the hands of mercy of the Lord Christ and Lady Christ? Who will raise up those who have fallen into distress? Who will go? Behold, with his own heartbeat drumming in unison with the heartbeats of the lamb and dove, Abdiel answered the question with these words. He said, I will go. Lo, when Abdiel answered the question of the heartbeat with the words, I will go, his own heart beat in unison with the hearts of the lamb and dove. It was then that Abdiel received the great vision of a great work and understood his own role in that work. Yea, the vision he received was from the dove and lamb, and the vision revealed the purpose of the Nasarean priesthood and his role within that priesthood. And the name of the vision is the Mahazeh Gedolah, which means the great revelation. And that revelation is in two parts. The first part is called the revelation of all that has been, and the second part is called the messianic revelation of the Lamb and the dove. Receive now the first part of the Mahazeh Gedolah. All right, we're at verse 87. And this is long, and I apologize if I read it too fast or make any mistakes, because we just got to keep going. Can't stop. Ain't no stopping us now. So verse 87 says, Behold, the revelation of the all that has been, which is the first part of the Mahazeh Gedolah. Abdiel looked within and saw the mysteries of life revealed. Yea, Abdiel watched as the Ancient of Days asked the first question, Who am I? And lo, Abdiel heard Yah become Jah, with the declaration of the first answer, I am. Yea, Abdiel watched the story of Jaja unfold, even feeling the story unfold within his own heart. Abdiel saw and felt the first feeling of Jah, and that feeling was bliss, which is the love of I am, which is also the great appreciation. Yea, and Abdiel tasted the gracious wish, which was the wish of the one alone, to share existence, consciousness, and bliss with one another. Lo, Abdiel witnessed Jah become the first male, as Gedolah came forth from Ayin Sof as the first female, together becoming God and Goddess transcendent, Jaja. Yea, the one alone was now the lover and the beloved, the one another. And Abdiel perceived the divine plan. Yea, he saw how the plan was made of many parts to achieve the goal. And that goal is the great goal, which is the great why, which is I and I. Yea, the great goal is to create divine children who freely choose to join Jaja in the blessed day of play and perpetual communion. And Abdiel perceived the parts of the plan. He perceived the divine way, which is the way of Yahweh, which is the way of creative expansion of existence, consciousness, and bliss. And he perceived the great school, which is the mother ovum, and all the ovums within that ovum, which are the countless bodies and worlds within worlds in which the children of Jaja expand in existence, consciousness, and bliss, learning what must be learned at each level until at last they pierce the mother ovum and join Jah and Gedolah in heaven most high. And he perceived the universal laws, which are the laws of being, which are encoded into the very fabric of being. And he perceived the great freedom, which is the freedom of every child of Jaja to choose good or evil, to choose fellowship with Jaja or to reject Jaja. And he perceived the means of intervention of Jaja, which is Jade, the Lord Christ, and Jannah, the Lady Christ, who are the hands of mercy by which Jaja reaches from heaven most high into the mother ovum to save those suffering from the consequences of the great freedom. Yea, Abdiel saw within himself all these things of the divine plan. We're at verse 104 if you want to follow along and you got the book. It says, and he witnessed the activation of the plan. He saw the tizum of Jah and Jalah. He saw the emanation of Jadeh from Jah. He saw the emanation of Janah from Gedolah. He saw the creation of the mother ovum. He saw the ascension of Jah to heaven most high, which is outside of the mother ovum. He saw the birth of Etz Chayam, the tree of life. He saw the golden ladder of countless rungs, which is in the center branch of the tree of life, the branch which connects every being with heaven most high and Jah. He saw that every rung is held in place by the two poles of the ladder, Jadeh, the word of Jah, and Janah, the breath of Jalah, which are the two that are one, and the one that is two, God and Goddess immanent, directly emanated, first son and first daughter of Jah. He saw their dance, and the countless worlds and beings that came forth from their dance, yea, and the countless worlds and beings that will continue to come forth from their dance. And Abdiel saw that many beings within the great freedom made unwise choices and experienced great pain, creating hell realms within and without. And Abdiel saw countless worlds and souls over fathomless duration fall down the ladder into foul pits of their own making. And Abdiel saw that always in every foul pit the Lord Christ Jadeh and the Lady Christ Janah intervened as the hands of mercy. But Abdiel saw that this intervention must be according to the laws of intervention, according to the great freedom. And Abdiel saw that an evil tyrant called Satan had come forth, and that Satan had an army of servants called demons, and that Satan did intervene in many worlds in direct opposition to the love and wisdom of God and Goddess immanent and transcendent. And Abdiel saw that this opposition was possible within the great freedom. For within that freedom is the freedom to choose evil. And Abdiel saw that the worlds and souls in need of the hands of mercy are countless, and that Jadeh and Janah, our Lord Christ and Lady Christ, ever since the beginning of their dance, have sent forth the great invitation, which is the invitation to join them in their work of messianic intervention, which is to become hands of mercy. And Abdiel saw that only those who have the ears to hear can hear the great call, which is the great invitation to join the Christ family, which is the body of Christ. Behold, Abdiel knew that his hearing of the question, who will go, was his hearing of the great invitation. Yea, and he knew that his response, I will go, was his acceptance of the invitation. Lo, he knew that his work would be on this new world that had suffered satanic attack at its very inception. Behold, he saw within himself the coming of Abraham and Sarah to plant the tree of life on this world. He saw Lucifer attempt to prevent that planting. He saw his own conception by Adam and Eve before their fall. He saw their fall into the killing and eating of animals when they obeyed the voice of Lucifer rather than the voice of Elohim within. Abdiel saw that now the garden was polluted. Satanic seed was mixed with God's seed. Now there were two spirals planted in this garden, the upward spiral into heavenly realms of light and bliss, and the downward spiral into hellish realms of darkness and pain. Behold, the downward spiral always existed as a possibility, but now, on this world, as in many other worlds, the downward spiral was an actuality. And lo, at the moment it was made manifest, many thousands of demonic entities of various types flocked to this world, some with bodies, some disembodied. Some of the disembodied were called pain suckers, for they feed on the emotional pain of other beings, and all pain suckers are of the family called parasites. The most dangerous of the suckers are those called pain farmers, for they plant seeds of discord in order to increase their harvest of pain. Yea, they teach the art of weapon making and encourage warfare and 1,000 other evil things. And they do this by whispering in the minds of not only their willing servants, but even their unsuspecting host. For the unsuspecting host thinks that demonic suggestion whispered in his mind is his own idea. And Abdiel perceived how the demons were able to enter the bodies of their unsuspecting hosts, although the laws of nature worked against demonic possession, for no entity should be able to enter the Betestah Ha'ara, that's the ovum of light, of another being without permission. The demons found that they could slow their vibration of and thereby weaken the Majin Ha'ara, the shield of light of creatures, by getting them to eat flesh. Yea, the demons found that they could pierce the light shield of creatures who fell from the fleshless diet to a diet of flesh. And once they entered the light ovum, behold, they could enter even the physical body of the unsuspecting host. And by entering the body of a host, lo, the demons gain two things. One, they may now whisper in the mind of their host. Two, they may experience vicarious thrills through the sense organs of their host. Abdiel also perceived the remedy of this great evil, a return to the fleshless diet. For once a being rejects the flesh diet of the demons are forced to flee. Yea, the demons are forced to flee because, according to Jah law, they cannot be within the light ovum of any creature who eats not the flesh of other creatures. The eggs or milk of other creatures may be eaten without fear of demonic possession, yea, and the vegetables, grains, and fruits of nature, but not the flesh of another creature. And Abdiel perceived that on many worlds the pain farmers had subverted the fleshless diets of creatures, and thereby planted seeds of pain that grew into mighty crops. And the pain farmers cultivate their soil before planting, and they add manure to their fields, and they water their crops. And Satan is a master of the pain farmers, and Lucifer is one of his many servants. It says at verse 151, lo, the Mahazeh Gedolah, the great revelation, was in two parts. The first part, which was now described, is the revelation of all that had been, for it revealed to Abdiel all the things that had made needful the coming to this world of the Nasarean priesthood and the hands of mercy of the Lord Christ Jade and Lady Christ Janah. And it says, now receive the second part of the Mahazeh Gedolah, which part is called the Messianic Revelation of the Lamb and Dove. Aha. But we're going to get on out of here now, guys. Thanks for rocking with me. Dale, Abdiel, messenger of our Elohim.